We canned applesauce the other day, and we started out with 3 pecks of apples, 1 peck of Fuji and 2 of Golden Delicious. Stuck them in the sink and scrubbed them off pretty good with soapy water, because who knows what's on apples these days. And then rinsed them off really well and cut them in quarters. And then we put them in tinfoil lined roasting pans, and we kept the apples separate. We put the Golden Delicious in one and Fuji in the other, because the Fuji are a hotter apple and they have to cook about 20 minutes to a half an hour longer than the Golden Delicious do. The next thing to do is cover your pans of apples with tin foil and seal them in fairly tight. They'll cook faster and retain more moisture. You want to put the pans in a 400-degree oven. The softer apples, they'll go in for about an hour, hour and 10 minutes, and your hotter apples will be about an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes. When your cooking time's up, open up the foil and take a fork and test them. You want them really soft, and look how easy this fork goes in and out of both of these pans of apples. They're pretty much mush. Now at this point you can just let them cool and then run them through a food mill. But what we usually do is, well, what we just about always do now is we take them out of these pans and stick them into a large 16-quart pot and let them cool on the counter, and then stick them in the refrigerator overnight. And then the next day we put them through the food mill. And don't forget to throw the liquid from both pans into the pot too. The next day you run them through a food mill. You can use an old-fashioned food mill, or what I used to use was a Roma or a Vittorio tomato strainer. Works great, but it's hand crank. And now we use this fruit and berry strainer on the KitchenAid mixer. Same principle as the Roma or the Vittorio tomato strainer. Works great, saves a lot of time, and it's real easy to use. Here it is all set up. The seeds and stems and skins come out the right hand end there and fall into that small pot, and all the applesauce falls into that measuring cup. You run the mixer on speed 2 and put the apples in the top and use the plunger to push them in. And here's the skin, seeds, and stems after we ran all the apples through the machine. And there's still quite a bit of applesauce in here, so we're going to run them through one more time. And this is what we got when we ran the stuff through a second time. 5.5 cups more applesauce. So it's definitely worth doing. This is what we ended up with. 41.5 cups of fresh applesauce. So to can it, which is what we're going to do next, we need to bring this up to temperature. Instead of doing it on the stove and having to keep stirring it and worrying about it burning, we're going to stick it in a 325-degree oven, and every 10 or 15 minutes we just stir it a little bit until it gets up to temperature. While the applesauce is heating up, we're going to sterilize our jars, and we're going to start warming some water in our steam canner. This is a steam canner, and anything you can do in a water bath canner you can do in the steam canner, and the processing times are the same. It's just so much easier because you don't have to heat all that water up and have to be moving it around and just dealing with that giant pot of boiling water. It's a lot easier. Here's a picture of the lower piece of the steam canner. There's a rack in there that sits about 3 inches off the bottom, and you're supposed to fill the bottom pan with water to just below the rack. There's actually a little too much water in this photo. While all that other stuff is going, heat your lids in some water. Don't have to boil it, just warm them up. And when the jars are sterilized and your applesauce is hot, fill the jars, leave a 1/2 inch of headroom, clean the top lip of your jar, put your lid and ring on, snug, and then put them in the steam canner, put the lid on it. When the steam shoots out of the side vent 8 inches, start your timing. And when your time's up, take the lid off, then put them on a towel to cool, leave them there overnight, and check to see if they're sealed in the morning. And this is what we ended up with: 4 quarts and 13 pints of applesauce. If you've never canned before, I suggest you check out the Ball Book of Canning on the proper techniques of doing it. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please comment, rate, or subscribe. I hope it works out for you. Thanks for watching. Good luck. Bye.